the more you're able to do what's right. But society resists this, because if you prove it's possible to stand alone, others will have to face the truth that they are not. Mediocrity doesn't need weapons, it just needs consensus. It uses pitying glances, practical advice, and quiet mockery to pull you back down. Not because people hate you, but because your confidence makes them feel smaller. Nature called this slave morality, a system where the weak reframe their failures as virtues. When you're strong, they call you cold. When you're independent, they say you're selfish. But you weren't born to please everyone. Galileo was condemned for saying the Earth revolves around the sun, a truth that lacked popular approval. Rosa Parks, by refusing to give up her seat, forced America to confront its racial injustice. Real power doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's the quiet refusal to flinch when the world shakes. Here's a simple challenge that reveals how much you're shaped by others' eyes. Go eat alone at your regular spot. No phone, no headphones, no pretending to be busy. Just sit still. The discomfort that creeps in isn't loneliness. It's the fear of being seen as lonely. But if you push through it, you'll realize the first taste of freedom comes from being at peace with how others see you. Ask yourself this: if you posted nothing, told no one, would your work still feel meaningful? If the answer is no, maybe you're performing life instead of living it, like a farmer who plants for likes instead of fruit. You've been off track longer than you think. The Bible says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." You don't need to fight the world. Just have the courage to live differently. And it starts with letting go of the crowd's applause. If you truly want to build a mind that makes others uneasy in the best way, start by defining your own values. Don't borrow morals from the majority. Don't wait for permission to move. Let every action answer one question: does this make me a better version of myself? And when you can stand tall on your own without leaning on praise, you're not just formidable, you're free. Number 4, own your life completely. You don't need to own your life completely. Voice to be feared. Just stay calm when everyone else reacts. In a world run by reflexes, the one who pauses to think is the most dangerous person in the room. And that begins when you accept a hard truth. No one but you is responsible for your life. In Stoic philosophy, there's a recurring concept, logos, the rational order that governs the universe. Everything operates according to a certain logic, whether you like it or not. But logos isn't fate, it's the setting. How you act within that setting is your choice. You might lose your job, be betrayed, be misunderstood. That's the world's part. Your part is how you respond. And your response is your personal declaration of inner strength. We often confuse faith with surrender, as if living well guarantees life will go well. But maturity begins the moment you let that belief go. The moment you look in the mirror and ask, if no one helps me, how far can I help myself? That moment when you stop looking outward for reasons and start taking control of what's within, that's when you truly grow strong. When nature said God is dead, he wasn't cheering for atheism. He wasn't celebrating. He was warning. He threw a bomb into humanity's moral foundation, saying that from now on, there's no guide, no scapegoat, no will of God, no fate, no higher power to define right and wrong for you. You're steering the ship, and you're also the only one to blame when it hits the rocks. It's a lonely truth, but it's pure power. Jean-Paul Sartre took it further. Man is condemned to be free. It sounds like a paradox. How can freedom, the thing we crave, be a sentence? Because without God, without destiny, without an instruction manual for life, every decision becomes critical. And no one else can take the fall for it, but you. You can't blame your parents, society, or circumstances. Freedom is a burden. You have the right to rewrite your story, but you also lose the right to complain if the endings suck. If that feels heavy, good. It's supposed to. That's the price of real freedom. And if you have the guts to carry it, you'll become the kind of person others don't know how to handle. They can't lure you with rewards, can't scare you with loss, they can't control you, and that unsettles them. Where do you start? Start by dropping the excuses like, I'm this way because of my childhood, because of society, because they don't understand me. You're not that way, you chose to be. And you can choose differently, but only if you're honest enough to erase the whole list of reasons you've used to avoid facing yourself. Try something simple that most people never do. Before bed, don't ask, who drained me today? Instead, ask, what responsibility did I avoid today? Write it down, not to beat yourself up, but so that tomorrow you can make a different move. A small, consistent choice can shift the entire direction of your life. A strong mind isn't one that knows everything. It's one that takes responsibility even for the unknown. If you're still reading, stop for 3 seconds. That's right. Just stop, breathe, look around, and notice this. You just proved something powerful. You can control your actions. Even while a video is playing, that's strength. And if you've made it halfway through with us, hit like as your personal pledge. A pledge to yourself that you're done living like a victim. And don't miss the next part, because every piece of this journey is building one thing, a mind the world has to reckon with. Strength is facing pain. Number 5, strength is facing pain. How do you build a mind so strong it makes others hesitate? The answer isn't in feel-good mantras like love yourself or everything will be okay. Real strength doesn't come from denying pain. It comes from facing it head-on. Sometimes the cracks in your soul are exactly where the light gets in, showing you the path to becoming unshakable. But ask yourself, how many times in life have you chosen to run instead of endure? And where did that get you? A mind of steel isn't forged in comfort. It's shaped in chaos, in confusion, in sleepless nights. That's where you either break or you rebuild. We forget inner turmoil isn't a sign of weakness. It's raw material. It's the clay from which a deeper, stronger version of yourself is formed. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, wrote in Man's Search for Meaning that humans can endure almost anything as long as they find meaning in the pain. So here's the real question. Have you ever tried to find meaning in your suffering, or have you just been trying to escape it? There's a reason I want to tell you this story, because it proves a hard truth. Pain doesn't destroy you. Avoiding it does. There was a man named James, a successful engineer, a husband, a father. Everything fell apart when his 6-year-old son died in an accident. For months, James was a ghost. He shut down every emotion, buried himself in work, tried to outrun the grief. But the more he ran, the emptier he felt. Then one day, he saw his son's old shoes under the table and collapsed. For the first time, he let himself cry, let himself remember, and that was the turning point. He began writing letters to his son, one each day. He wrote about the ache, the guilt, the moments they never got to share. A year later, those letters became a book that helped thousands of parents survive their own losses. Maybe you haven't faced a tragedy like James, but everyone has a pain they keep buried. What matters is not to run from it, but to sit with it. Start each day with this question: what pain am I trying to ignore? Write it down, not to complain, but to understand. Then ask, what can this teach me? When you dare to confront pain, it loses its grip. It becomes fuel. Just like coal under pressure turns into diamond, your mind sharpens under pressure too, until it becomes something formidable. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Without hardship, there is no strength." So ask yourself, do you want comfort in illusions or growth through truth? Now pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, how many times have you backed down just to avoid hurting? How many big moments in your life got buried under the fear of feeling too much? Here's a practical tool. Choose a painful memory. Rewrite it from the perspective of someone who's already made it through. Don't write like you're stuck in the storm. Write like you've come out the other side and you're telling the story. Because when the story changes, your mind does too. A strong mind isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the raw materials are the hardest to hold. Pain, loss, failure. While others flinch, you walk forward. While others complain, you learn. While others fall, you grow. And that's when people start to fear you. Not because you don't hurt, but because you don't break. And once you've turned pain into your weapon, you're ready for the next lesson. Prepare for the worst. Not to live in fear, but to become someone nothing can break. Number 6, expect the worst. One of the most quietly powerful, expect the worst. Habits of mentally strong people is this: they always prepare for the worst. Not because they're pessimists, but because they refuse to live in denial. They don't want surprises. They don't want a shock to rob them of clarity. That's what makes them dangerous, because you can't break someone who's already made peace with failure. Ever notice? The person who unsettles others the most isn't the one screaming or complaining. It's the one sitting silently in the chaos. Face unchanged. They watch the storm arrive like they've been expecting it.